Lead editor David Burdett.
So these guys are lucky to have me at this point, considering Call of Duty's rank play just went live. But as I told them right before we started this, I will not leave you for Call of Duty again.
Yes, that already happened once. Granted, it was already planned, but you're here still.
Yeah, which is I can't wait to play rank play after this is all done.
Well, February 22nd, Halo's revamping their CSR ranked system, so I'm looking forward to that. So you guys had your ranked play drop, like, for sure today. We got to wait a few more days for ours to get properly implemented. They said theirs were a little too generous.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's saying, that's putting it lightly. It's very generous.
Their Call of Duty's league play back in Cold War did not have any sort of elo system ranked SR, and they're putting that into this along with rewards, more tiers of how to grow and all that. So very, very excited that they've taken the time to not only make the mode good, but they've also, when they revealed it, they actually brought some pros in, and they've apparently been listening to the pros to build this the way that it should be built. So just even with issues with the game still, they're at least listening to feedback. So good deal.
Editor Noah Ansaldua.
What else is coming out February 22nd? I hear everyone asking, they're clamoring. Destiny 2, The Witch Queen comes out February 22nd, 2022 at 11 p.m. or 11 a.m. Central Time, and I'm going to be playing that all day. I cannot wait.
9 a.m. for me.
Notwithstanding. Yeah.
You can guarantee that the servers will not be functional at that time. They don't even function for seasonal updates. So you can guarantee the Witch Queen's going to have some nobody can play for about the first hour and a half, 2 hours. It always is the case. What are you going to do when that happens to you?
I am going to load up Lost Ark, and I'm going to grind out some quests, and I'm going to have the time of my life.
Because you can get in that game now since they increased the server capacity. My name is Anthony Shelton, YouTube content creator and writer, and look at what my child did to me. Look at this. Look at this.
Oh, my goodness.
Look at that. Half-inch scratch. Look at that. She's doing this thing now where she like grabs for my face and I like dodge it like I'm over here doing kung fu moves and stuff. And she got me. Her nail just went and I felt it.
Dang.
But I didn't know it was that long. I was like, wow, that didn't feel as bad as it looks. And I don't know why God made baby's nails so sharp. They are incredibly sharp. So when you two ever have a child, if that ever happens for you, let me tell you, those nails are sharp, like out the womb sharp.
Didn't have your repulsor, right?
Yeah.
No.
I just pictured my child's head like going down.
Don't think about that. Don't make it morbid.
Have you seen the repulsor? How strong that thing is? Exactly what happened. She probably bounced like out of my hands. Anyway, she's 10 months old. She don't know what she's doing. So, but I don't know why baby's nails are so sharp. They are super sharp. All right, let's get into our icebreaker question. So, if you could visit a video game world, which one would you visit, David?
This is so hard of a question because there are so many great video game worlds I would love to visit. I'd love to visit the world of Uncharted because it just seems like just such a great place. I think, and this is kind of a cop-out answer considering how much I love the game right now, but the world of Horizon, recency bias. The world of Horizon is just incredible. Robot dinosaurs, robot creatures, all this crazy stuff happening in the world is pretty sweet. So I kind of would like to go there.
That's too much nature for me. So not happening. Noah?
Surprised you don't want to go live in the zombie wasteland of Dying Light 2. No, I would say I would say mine is Destiny just because it's freaking space wizards.
That was an easy guess.
It's space wizards. It's space cowboys. It's everything we talked about. like in terms of it could be anything you want it to be. Really, you're just like
Okay.
super powered, going crazy and having fun.
And if
But
you
what
die, you
planet?
respawn.
What planet? what planet? I would want to go to.
You got you can't just say
No,
Destiny.
no.
Like,
The
you
world
gotta
of
live on a
Destiny.
planet.
Okay.
He
Then I
wants to
would
bunk with
say,
Cade 6.
if I had to choose a
R.I.P.
world, I would definitely choose like the Dreaming City because it's beautiful.
Okay.
It's probably the most like fleshed out location in Destiny history.
Yeah.
And it's got the Lord of the Rings sort of vibe to it, and also like space magic, and also like the Taken weird horror stuff going on there. It's a lot of cool stuff, and that'd probably be the one that I could like stay on the most and not get sick of.
Fair enough. I would choose Isle Delfino from Super Mario Sunshine. I hate Super Mario Sunshine, but Isle Delfino is really cool. All the water, the different tropical island mass, all the nice trees. The people are so nice. Those Delphinians, they're so nice. So I think that, and the sunshine is literally like very bright, and I think it always is shining there. So I don't think there is nighttime. So
I think Anthony just wants to go on vacation.
yeah, maybe, but you wouldn't want to stay in Isle Delfino. I mean, that place
No,
is
I
beautiful, man.
I can't say
awesome.
no. I can't say no.
That's what I'm saying. You can't say no to it. So that's where I would go. All right, we're going to do something a little different today. Usually we would go into our trending news segment, but because there is one particular game that will take up probably quite a bit of conversation, we're going to start with our Apples to Apples segment now. So, David, we're going to start with you. Obviously, Apples to Apples. Noah and I are going to present 3 words for you that will hopefully describe an experience you have or something funny, whatever, with your game, which you already know what it is, but you will choose one, and one of us will get a point. So far, the point differentiation is David with 4, Noah with 3, and I have 2. So, David, what have you been playing?
Worst kept secret, unless you've been watching my Twitter. Horizon Forbidden West. It's absolutely incredible.
All right. My 3 words for you are Game of the Year, save $10, and just because I like saying this word, tall necks. Noah, what are your 3 words?
My 3 words are masterpiece, water never looked so good, and amazing characters.
All right, David?
Every single one of those could fit. However, you are very correct in that tall necks. It's just so fun to say.
I didn't think I would get that. Let's go.
Game of the Year would have been the next one, but tall necks is, I mean, if you've read our full review, is on gamingtrend.com right now. You can go check it out. One of the things
what score did you give it, by the way?
So it's actually the first 100 out of 100 I've ever given.
Wow.
I've never given a game a 10 or anything like that. The highest I've ever gone is 9.5, 95.
Wow. Okay.
So the way that you can take a game, and this even just in the first one, you take a game, you borrow a lot of elements, but you find a way to make them your own. You find a way to make them fresh. You find a way to make them fun. You take that and then you do it all over again and somehow make it even better. It was already a great game when it came out way back in 2017. It's an even better game now. Like it's incredible just looking at it, just what the PS5 and what they've been able to put together, the density of everything, like the foliage that's everywhere, the beauty of, as Noah put it, the water never looks so good. The water levels are great. I never had any spots. There's no combat that you actually can do in the water, unfortunately. Makes sense. Firing a bow underwater doesn't really do anything. But it doesn't make you mad going around in the water and hiding from some of these creatures stuff. They don't overwhelm you with creatures and make things where you hate it and all that kind of stuff. That was probably the number one thing. I'm like, man, you made water level I don't hate. You already succeeded. Because almost every water level in every video game sucks.
Agreed.
Looking at you, as I said in the review, looking at you, Water Temple.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it's just insane that they took all of these different things, they put them all together, they made it great. It's a spoiler, it's out there. I don't actually mention in the review, but I'm gonna go ahead and mention it here. You get a flying mount. You get the chance to hack a Sunwing and fly this pterodactyl creature out on one of the missions. And the whole time I'm sitting there, when I get the mission to start, it's like, okay, I need to go up to the Sunwing. I need to go get this override piece and go up to the Sunwing. And all I'm doing is sitting there thinking, I'm really about to do this. I'm about to go up and hack one of these pterodactyl creatures and fly.
So
And
yeah,
when
let's
you
not
get in there
assume
and
people
do it,
know
it's
what you're
just-
talking about. You can hack the
Yes.
mech dinosaurs now.
Yes. Well, in the first game, you could hack a lot of the different. You could hack pretty much every dinosaur. You just couldn't use every dinosaur.
Right,
If that makes
yes.
sense. So you could. There were a couple of riding mounts which still exist in the regular game, where you could essentially hack. For the most part, it wasn't anything you'd use to attack anything. It was like I guess for lack of a better term, like oxen kind of style creatures and whatnot. So you could ride them around, do whatever you needed with them. In this one, they've grown all of that. Not just the fact that you can fly them, but they've even added in where one of the perks, one of the skills you can actually earn, for instance, you can actually set these creatures to be more aggressive or more defensive too. So it can completely change. Like you're out in the midst of a battlefield and there's like a bunch of different creatures out there. You go and make one of them go fight his buddies, let you sneak all the way around.
Yeah.
So it's there's not many games out there. Well, and I hate to say not many games out there because plenty of games do it. There's not many games out there that do it this well, and just giving you a set character that you can run out into the world, you can level them up, and you still feel like you leave an imprint on them, even though it's its own character, even though it's a set character that you don't get to change a lot of. Aloy is Aloy. You're not changing her voice. You're not changing her look that much besides outfit, but she still feels like your Aloy. It's kind of the same way, and I've not played it a lot. I'm assuming both of you may have, but it's kind of how The Witcher, how Geralt feels. You still get the feeling of you're creating your own character and can kind of do what you want with it. Although I feel like they do it a little bit more so even in Horizon, given just the wealth of weapons, the wealth of scenarios on how to make your way through battlefields, to make your way through levels. I could sit here and talk about this game for a very, very long time. And
We got time.
in our review. The story they've taken, once again, it's all about improving. One of the things that people weren't as happy with was side missions and with some of the interactions you had with characters in Horizon Zero Dawn and the character models. I mentioned in the review that it was plastic because these characters looked plastic. These characters did not look good. The side characters, if you go and look at some of the screenshots of just some of the different publications putting them out, these side characters are fully realized. There are not a lot of people you can talk to on a side mission that don't look as good as Aloy does. You feel invested not only in that, but it's more than just them looking good. They're personable. They talk to you. They give you kind of what's going on in their life, what's happening. Another thing that was an issue was dialogue in the previous one. That just feels like it's wiped away because I finished the game. I believe I put about 22 to 25 hours into the campaign. At least 2 hours of that was me sitting there talking to my companions because I wanted every last bit of dialogue because it was getting me invested into their lives. You don't have to just make decisions you don't have to give me the option to make different decisions that change things in dialogue to make it good dialogue. You just have to make good dialogue. And they did a really good job there. They didn't pull any punches with the story. One of the things with the original game, everybody, at least anybody who's played it remembers, is the big thing about Aloy is she is a clone that a computer program, an AI, creates. because the AI has to explode itself because the AI was supposed to terraform and redo the Earth. And a mysterious signal made everything go nuts. And so it puts out this clone of the original creator from 1,000 years ago because it hopes that this clone will go out and do the things and fix everything, which she does in the first game. They somehow managed to up themselves in the sequel story. They somehow managed to take this, oh my gosh, I'm a clone of the creator, and all these robot creatures that are around are supposed to be terraforming the world. Like, that's their point in all of this. It's more than just, oh, it's cool creatures. There's a purpose to all of them. They somehow took these crazy revelations we got in the original and made even bigger ones. I'm not going to get into that because I don't want to spoil anything in the game.
Mm-hmm.
But the fact that it's just so well paced, when you're going to play a game and put at least 20 hours into a story and somehow you come away with it and you're like, man, there wasn't really any spots where I felt like my time was wasted. It's a really good game when you don't feel like there was any, when I forget that I'm doing a fetch quest, that's a really good thing. That means you've done great with your dialogue. That means you've kept me invested in the gameplay loop. You figured it out.
Mm-hmm.
So that Guerrilla has absolutely figured it out. I am so glad to see them make this jump. Killzone was great. Love Killzone. Still want Killzone to come back. Horizon, though, just another level that they've taken it to. And Guerrilla is definitely stamped out their place alongside Naughty Dog and Sony Santa Monica up there in the elite of PlayStation studios.
Can you hack multiple machines?
Pretty sure you
like
could
at the same time.
Pretty sure you could in the first one.
Okay, I didn't finish the first one, so
yeah. Eventually, you get to the place where you can go ahead and go hack different creatures. I believe there is a limit to how many, like for instance, the bigger creatures like a Thunderjaw. I don't believe you could. I don't believe if there were 2 in the area, I don't think you could hack both of them.
Okay,
but you could. I'm pretty sure you could hack one and have it fight the other.
Oh yeah.
Which is pretty darn sweet.
That's what I was thinking about because I was thinking, ooh, if I could hack as many as I can and then just have them sick all the other enemies, yeah, that would make my life a lot easier. I'll take a few L's trying to hack a few of these. Absolutely. Noah, do you have any questions?
No, I don't know anything about Horizon Zero Dawn, so or Forbidden West. So thank you for spoiling all of Zero Dawn.
Didn't spoil all of Zero Dawn. There's still a lot of there's a lot of great stuff in there.
Yeah, no, I can't wait to play it. If anything, you got me more excited to play it.
It's just another level. That's really what it is. It's just taken to another level.
Yeah.
Yeah, what I have played of Zero Dawn, I have thoroughly enjoyed. I think I'm more than halfway through. I just had other games to play, so I just didn't have time to finish. But yeah, I was like, yeah, I like this game. I am looking forward to Forbidden West, probably more than Zero Dawn, because I do have a few issues with Zero Dawn. So if you're saying that everything from Zero Dawn has been improved upon and made better, then I am certainly looking forward.
Even the melee is better. That was a big issue people had with the original. Was the melee was very underbaked. And
yeah,
I ain't gonna say, you want to put away your bow and just go melee everything, and melee isn't as forgiving when you're fighting bigger dinosaurs, but I mean, at least when I go up against other tribes people, melee is a very useful piece of my arsenal. So whereas it was completely ignorable in the first game.
Yeah, it is. That is for sure. All right. Noah, what have you been playing?
I've been playing MMORPG, free-to-play Lost Ark, and I had my doubts about it at first, and now I'm kind of digging it. I played it for like 8.5 hours yesterday on stream. Up until the maintenance kicked me out of the game, and I was like,
oh no.
I was like, oh man, this is bad. This is a problem.
Yeah. All right. David, what are your 3 words for Noah?
Mine are yes, Diablark, and Amazon's Primist.
Where do you come up with these?
That's
right.
why Ron made me lead editor.
Yeah. Mine are On Top of the New World,
Nice.
Setting Records, and New MMO Home.
Okay. These are all good. These are all very good.
We brought our A game today for you, Noah.
I'm gonna say this is my new MMO home. I'm gonna go with new MMO home because
Nice.
let's
There you go, man.
2 in a row.
So I've never had like a game that was like, well, other than Destiny, which I don't really count. It's like an MMO light. I've never had a game that's like an MMO that I'm like, this is like, I even said this yesterday. I was like, this game feels like my MMO. Because tons of MMOs just don't like grab me. Final Fantasy 14 to me looks too ugly and too dated. I know that a lot of people love the way it looks. I don't get it. And I don't like the sort of like Final Fantasy combat in the MMO setting. And I like the ARPG stuff way more in terms of like MMOs. So I like Destiny because it's pretty much an ARPG first person shooter. And Lost Ark just scratches that itch so well. The sound design is like amazing.
Awesome.
The art is really great. Like you can, I don't know, you can zoom in all the way to like you can see your character do all the moves, and it looks so great. Like even like in a game where it doesn't have to look great, if you zoom it all the way in, it looks so good. The visuals are so stunning. Like when you enter new areas, no two areas like look the same. They've all got the same flavor, like a different flavor. And a different like sort of fantasy aspect. Like there's like the haunted graveyard. There's like dungeons that are all distinct. There's the starting village or whatever. It's all really cool. And I think the way the systems are presented is pretty easy to digest. Like when you're actually in it. But like when I was watching people play on stream, I was like, man, this looks very dense, and like I don't want to play this game. But it's actually not like that. It's pretty like well explained to you as you go through, and like you can forget about things, and then the game will like remind you about these things, and you'll be like, oh yeah, I forgot about that because there's like 20,000 things in the game. But like it's not like ever a problem. You never feel like you're doing something wrong. It's pretty good. I'm like almost level 20 right now. I played a lot last night. But I'm probably gonna make another alt character because it's really fun so far, and yeah, we'll see if I stay playing it through Witch Queen, but I might. I don't know. We'll see.
Cool. You're gonna create another alt character before you've reached the end game?
No, I'll probably get to level 50. And then like instead of I don't know. I don't. We'll see. I might make an alt before. We'll see.
And it's free to play as well, huh?
It's free to play, and like it doesn't feel free to play yet. For me, I don't feel the free to play like pay to win stuff at all. I'm just vibing.
Cool.
That is dope.
Yeah.
Might give it a shot. Another game to play this year. My game is Sifu. Noah, what are your 3 words?
Oh, okay. So I reviewed this, so I better win this. I have a lot on the line. So I'm going to say striking visuals. I've been training. I've been training for 8 long years, and visceral.
And David, what are your 3 words?
Mine are Chinese flair, palm gesture,
Okay,
and purist parrying. Because my lord, you have to do pure parrying if it's actually going to work in this game.
I am going to go with I've been training for 8 long years. That was a good one. That was a good one. So the score is all tied up now. Each of us have 4.
Dang.
Yeah. All right. So fun fact about that. I've been training for 8 long years. You could beat a boss at level 20 or age 20, and still I've been training for 8 long years. You could beat this happens on the first boss, by the way. You can die or, beat the boss at age, 50 something. And I've been training for 8 long years. Now, what's interesting, my very first run, I did not do well, obviously. It's the first run. So I think I beat that boss at age like 63. And he did say something different. And I think he said, I've been waiting a long time for this.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think he did say something different because I remember when I beat it at a better age, he said, I've been training for 8 long years for this, which was still weird because I was like 40.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay. So there's fun fact there. I would have to go back and replay, but I'm pretty sure he says I've been waiting a long time for this at like age 60. But anyway, if you're at that age by that point, you're new, keep going. My point is the game is fantastic. I love it. Pairing is not absolutely necessary. I would say avoiding is even more necessary than that, which is basically like a sidestep in the game. At first, because the game teaches you, the very first thing it teaches you is to parry. Not even punch, parry. You feel like that's the most important thing I need to do in this game. It's one of them, but it's not. I would say avoiding or sidestepping, however you want to say it, is the most important thing because a lot of enemies are left open more often for you to strike back versus parrying. You can't parry every hit. You have to parry multiple hits, and then there's that one final hit that you'll be able to parry and then get in some moves versus sidestepping. If they miss, most of the time, you'll actually be able to get in a hit faster. So it's really interesting what the game allows you to know and what the game allows you to figure out to get you going. Mm-hmm. And one of the things that you have to figure out is that not everything is as useful as you would hope by the time you get to the end of the game. I'm not going to spoil it, but I am going to say by the time you get to the final boss, most of the things that you've unlocked don't even need them, which is kind of crappy because the boss is dope, but they didn't create the boss in a way where there are different phases to at least make you use something that you've put a lot of resources into.
Yeah.
So the fact that most of everything is near useless by the end of the game kind of sucks. So that's the bad part of the game. Everything else feels great. Oh, the fighting when you have to dodge multiple people at the same time and you like step back and try to get a hit. You're over here catching bottles and throwing it back at him. Then somebody's swinging a bat at you and you dodge out the way, punch him, trip somebody else. Like all this stuff is happening at the same time. And when you got the rhythms down, ooh, you feel like a kung fu master. Like they got that feeling down pat. Oh, it feels so good, especially when you've had trouble defeating an enemy and then you figure out the patterns. It's like, you can't hold me no more. I got you. So yes, Sifu is fantastic. It is a game you do have to have patience with. You can't go in expecting to be able to flurry with everything, which the game kind of makes it feel like you should be able to because you can unlock so many different moves, but most of those moves are going to end up getting blocked early. And so all the combos that you feel like you should be able to pull off, you really can't. So it is a very much like a counter-based type of fighting game instead of like finding the opening and just like wailing on them until they just die. But, oh, and the executions. Oh my God. Like YouTube executions. Like they are brutal. I still cringe every once in a while when I see one. It's like, oh, dang.
Yeah.
I can't even describe them.
And
like they're just
you get into like new situations and you just like you'll find a new like execution out of nowhere. Like you like if you're against like a wall or against like a thing on the ground, it's awesome.
Yeah, you could be next to a table, new execution happens. There's like 2 different executions on the ground, which that doesn't happen very often. So that is like one like busts his ankle and another one like busts their head into the ground. Like it's crazy the type of stuff, and it looks so smooth. It looks natural. It doesn't look janky. They made the fighting stuff look really good, and it feels so good. when you have perfected it. It is tough to get through, but trust me, it is so worth it when you get to the end and it's like it's just you and the boss and you're just duking it out. Like hands, fists, feet, that's it. Oh, it's so good. So good. All right. Usually we'd be doing apples to apples next, but we're going to move into our trending news segment. So, what I'm going to start with is the Cyberpunk 2077 next gen update. It is out. It is here. And I haven't really heard much about it, which is kind of interesting. Like it came and now it's gone. But what comes in this update is a few things. I'll list off a few things. There are tons of other things that they involved, but some of the major things are it was a 50 gig update. I think it was 63 gig update for the Series X. So basically, it was a full game download. The next gen versions, the Series X and the PlayStation 5 versions, come with ray trace local shadows, comes with 4K and 60 frame per second performance mode. PS5 has DualSense support, which I've heard good things about that so far. The Series S is at 1440p 30. That's the highest it can go. It comes with new weapons, visual improvements, hopefully so, yes. And then improved crowd reactions, which sounds weird, but apparently that was a very CPU intensive thing, which is why it had so much trouble on the last gen consoles. And apparently it's so CPU intensive. The last gen consoles will not be getting improved crowd reactions at all. And we're talking about when something happens, cars fly off the road in varying ways, people scurry in varying ways, instead of what was pretty rote, everybody was doing the same thing. Everything was happening the same way. CPU intensive, so next gen gets that stuff. Last gen does not. So, the first thing I think about is I'm actually glad they got this stuff out. Like I'm glad that the next gen version is done. I'm glad they pushed it back because it was supposed to happen last year, but they pushed it back. Good. And it's out. It's here. People can enjoy it. But man, ain't nobody coming back. Like that ship has sailed. Like the people who wanted to play Cyberpunk 2077 and got burned by the idea of it or burned by the fact that they bought it and it was a complete crap show, those people are gone. Now, I do like the fact that they put out a demo, which does demonstrate some confidence. It's a 5-hour demo, which is not short. Lasts for 30 days once you start it. Of course, over the course of a 30+ hour game, yes, that's not a lot. But 5 hours is a little chunky for a demo. So to me, that's a show of confidence that, hey, like this is the definitive version of Cyberpunk 2077. But man, a little too late to get those people back. David, how are you feeling about it?
Well, like you said, it's kind of too late to get those people back, but I don't know that at least they still did it. Like, I'll give them props. At least they didn't stop working on it. They kept it going. Apparently, it's a really good update. The only real issue you run into is that it sounds like the ray trace mode is not a very good mode. It feels real heavy. Feels really like chunky on consoles when you're playing it, which a lot of that's because it drops to 30 frames. So you're going to feel that a bit more. But I mean, if all you did was improve the 4K 60 on next gen consoles, make it native, plus, like you said, some of the crowd reaction and stuff like that is improvements, that makes the game a lot better because the game did not look anything like what we saw on PS5 on Xbox Series X. Obviously wasn't next gen version, but it still didn't look right, even with the extra performance that we got out of having the boost, so to speak, out of the next gen consoles. The only place it really even looked and ran right was PC, and even then it was still janky.
Yeah.
So it looked a lot better, but even then it was still janky. I have it on my PC. It is a nice little icon right up here on my corner screen that I have yet to turn on. I own the game here. I own the game on Xbox Series X. I own the game on Stadia. And I have not progressed any further. I think I had it on PlayStation, traded it in because I knew I was picking it up on PC. But I got past probably the first 2 to 4 hours of the game, and it just wasn't doing it. I hope maybe one day I'll go back and play it. I know that it had a whole lot of success over the holidays when it came back to PlayStation Store, as well as some of the different upgrades that they did for it through these patches. I know PC, it blew up over the holidays, if I'm not mistaken. But at this point, it just feels like you're releasing it to release it. And I know everyone is going to say the same thing. Why the crap do you release it right before Horizon Forbidden West and Elden Ring, and right after Dying Light 2 came out, which Dying Light 2 is a way bigger hit than anybody would have thought. And Dying Light 2 is going to keep going because Dying Light 2 has co-op. Dying Light 2 has incoming content that they're already talking about. PlayStation players are going to play Horizon. They're going to drop everything, play Horizon. They're going to play everybody's going to play some Elden Ring. And of course you've got Noah and the bajillion other people who are going to be jumping into Destiny and playing the new expansion because the old expansion is walled off and they can't play it now. But I like what they did. I just don't understand the logic behind releasing it right now. Like maybe it's hey, here it is. We finally finished it. That really feels what it is essentially.
Yeah. So I want to get into Cyberpunk 2077 and why it's really not Cyberpunk 2077. Why it still isn't Cyberpunk 2077 despite this huge, massive patch. They promise so much that is still not like here in this game after countless patches. I've been reading the patches, hoping for some like acknowledgement that they completely lied to the player base about what the game was going to be. But they haven't. They don't really plan to do that, I guess. But this game was supposed to have NPCs with daily routines. Like every NPC was supposed to have a daily routine, apparently. No, not in the game. This game was supposed to have a meaningful day and night cycle, which means like day would have some kind of thing that would happen, and like it would be like a sort of passive thing or thing that you'd expect. Night was supposed to have a thing that would happen, or be a passive thing that you'd expect. Like like you sneak better at night in the dark in the city, like on rooftops or whatever, like things like that. Like it was supposed to have a meaningful day and night cycle. It was supposed to have strong RPG elements with the sense that your quest decisions change the world around you. Um, it was supposed to have like things that you could see in the skybox that are like right there, that are like moving. Like you could see the like the medical vehicle, and you could follow that and tail it, and like get into your own little story that no one else would experience. All this stuff just not there. It's never going to be there, and that sucks. Because this game was supposed to be like a revelation, and this game is just a pretty good action RPG now with like the illusion of choice and the illusion of having decisions that actually matter, but they don't, because either way you do the first like few hours of the game, Jackie's gonna die. You can't do anything about that. Jackie's dead. Forget him. He's dead. I played 10 hours of this game, and it was tough. I really wanted to like it because like I was super pumped. And then one of the first gigs I do, one of the first side jobs I did, it was a little bit above my level, but I pulled it off. I wanted to do it non-lethally, so I wanted to put this girl in the back of the car, but the person in the car was just posted up like this. Like, and I was like, brother, I just want to put this girl in the car. I want to end the job. And I couldn't do that. And I like tried every single way I could possibly try it. I like saved and I quit, and I went back to it. I redid the thing. Nothing was working, so I had to kill her. I just had to like throw her down and just shoot her in the head. I was like, all right, well, that's all I can do. It's not what I wanted to do, but like whatever.
Brutal.
It sucked, and like so I was like partially reading the patch notes, like every single patch, just to like look to see if there was a fix for that quest, but I've forgotten what that quest was called at this point. It's a random side job, it doesn't matter. But it's like just I wanted this game to be so much better. And, I think I've had a year to process my loss of Cyberpunk 2077 and accept this other game that came out today or on Tuesday of this week, which is like not Cyberpunk 2077, but just like a game set in the Cyberpunk world, like an ARPG set in the Cyberpunk world. And I think I'm down for that. And I think that this might be enough for like me to download it because aside from the crowd behavior stuff, they also kind of reworked the police system and how that works, and now you can like hide within the radius instead of just having to run away. They made it to where like you can own apartments in the city, like you can own like 4 different apartments now, which you couldn't do before. And you can change your appearance in the mirror of any of those apartments. I don't know. It's not like enough. It's probably not going to pull me back in, to be honest. I'll probably play it for a little bit and be like, oh yeah, this is still disappointing, and like the wounds are still raw, and this is just salting it even more. And it really sucks because CD Projekt Red, like, I want to love them. I want to love them so much, but I can't because they lied to me. And I just wish that they would make this game the game it should be, and by all rights, like it should be. Like what are we doing? Like, why are we not gathering the pitchforks? Because they promised so much. Like, and I know that Watch Dogs and like other games have promised so much before, but this felt different because it was CD Projekt Red, and like that name held some level of like respect. Villains in the city used to stand for something. They used to believe in something, and now they just don't. And that's pretty much all I have to say about it.
So what you're telling me is we got Peter Molyneux. That's what you're telling me.
Yeah.
There are no pitchforks because everybody left the game.
Yeah.
That's why. They're not coming back.
They're not.
Exactly what I meant. So what people got is better than what they had. And so the ones who wanted to play Cyberpunk 2077 are satisfied. That's how they feel. So, like, on one hand, I'm glad CD Projekt Red put their head down and just got the job done. Because early on, when all this disaster stuff was happening, they were trying to defend themselves, and as developers, not necessarily the executives, but they were trying to defend themselves. They were trying to, give reasons as to, and I'm like, nah, just shut up. Just stop. There's nothing you can do to make this better except make the game better. And now they have done that. Obviously, it's not perfect. Obviously, it's missing a bunch of stuff. And we're in the age of live service anyway. So maybe, Noah, Cyberpunk 2077 will become the game you wanted it to be. Maybe it will become the revelation that you wanted it to be. It happened with No Man's Sky. No Man's Sky is everything it is and more at this point. So to be fair, it is possible. This is CD Projekt Red. I think they do give a crap about the stuff that they put out. Particularly the developers. I can't speak for the executives. But it is interesting why they released the game in February. Like this update, this patch, whatever, in February. I don't between Elden Ring, between Horizon Forbidden West, after Dying Light 2. What? What are y'all doing?
Yeah.
If anything, if they wanted more people to come back, just give it a month.
Yep.
At least that's more time to put in for development.
I mean, March doesn't have a lot in it that's going to compete, at least.
No, not a whole lot. There are some, but not a whole lot. But
not like this.
No.
Not like February.
Yeah, we knew February was going to be crazy in November of 2021.
Yeah.
And yet, somewhere on your whiteboard, you guys wrote, all right, we're going to have to delay it. Let's delay it to February. I don't understand that.
The Destiny killer.
It feels like somebody hit a button, the enter button. It feels like somebody hit the enter button. It was like, it works, guys. Okay, let's put it out.
It does feel like that.
It feels like.
I know that's not the case, but man, it does feel like that. We're done. Oh my God. We finished it. Okay, just put it out. Like, we're done.
Put it
like, frick. We'll fix the rest. We'll finish the rest later. This is good. I mean, people literally have 1 week before Destiny 2 comes out to like bust through Cyberpunk 2077. if they care about that, if they care about it, and they care about the Witch Queen.
Yeah.
They have 3 days as of yesterday before Forbidden West comes out. Like, what are you guys doing? It just
and Forbidden West actually runs on PS4.
Yeah, runs well.
Yep.
So you gave people a 5-hour demo. They can finish that before Forbidden West comes out. Great. It's a good idea. Yeah, that is a weird decision. And they put the game on sale. So not only did they squeeze it between everything, you put the game on sale, which is a fine move. I understand why they did that. But did you expect people to just buy it and then play it later?
That's almost what it feels like.
Yeah, like, okay, if you guys like it, it's on sale. Yeah, put it in the back. I don't know. That is the strangest decision. I was trying to understand that. I still don't quite understand it. No. That is probably the best reason, that they expect people to just buy it and play it later. All right, let's move into our next story. Nintendo is discontinuing the Wii U and 3DS eShop. So, I mean, it speaks for itself. Basically, by the end of March 2023, the Wii U and 3DS eShop will be inaccessible. You won't be able to download anything. You won't be able to do anything with it. You'll be able to keep the games that you've already downloaded, but you will not be able to re-download them in case you delete them or in case they get lost or anything like that. You won't be able to purchase anything from the Wii U and 3DS eShop later this year. But again, by March 2023, it will just be completely gone. And the problem isn't Nintendo closing the eShops. That's business. If people aren't using it, that's using resources you don't need. I get that. The problem is there's no other way to get these games elsewhere. Not on Switch, nothing. You're just out of luck. If you lose the game somehow, if your 3DS gets corrupted somehow and you lose the games, you're screwed. If you need to get rid of your Wii U for some reason, yard sale, you need a little cash flow, something, you're out of luck. That is the most disrespectful thing about all of this. It's money spent and you lose some things and it's not even your fault. That sucks. For a company that makes great games, this is completely disrespectful. Like, I get, I don't get how they have a catalog of all these great games and they don't make use of them. I get licensing issues with some stuff, but they need to figure something out where they can preserve the games, because they still want to make money off of them. This is what they've been doing for every single eShop, virtual console, whatever. They've been doing it for all of it. And maybe it's a money problem. Maybe they don't have enough. Maybe it is resource intensive. Maybe there's a lot of cash involved to create something, which is why Microsoft might be the only one who's been able to do it, because they got the cash to do this kind of stuff. But my goodness, this is inexcusable. Noah, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I think this is inexcusable. I think I was mad last week about Chrono Cross Remaster, but if you have to give every single game on this eShop, that treatment, I don't care, do it. I'll say 1,000 times do it. Just bring them on, because there's no way that you should be taking these games out and not having a reliable alternative. And Nintendo, I see people talking about Nintendo Switch Online, like that's the answer, but it's not right now. It has a fraction of the library on old Nintendo consoles, the ones that it even does represent, and they're not even reaching a fraction of what those libraries had. And if we look at GameCube library and how that whole system is hardly represented in what Nintendo's offering today, that sucks. And that tells me that they're not going to care about the 3DS in terms of let's bring these games on. Path of Radiance and Fire Emblem Path of Radiance, for example, and Super Smash Bros. Melee. These games cost $400 on eBay right now. If you want to get a disc. But how are you supposed to actually get access to these games in a legal manner? And it's just, if you're not bringing Fire Emblem Path of Radiance and like Super Smash Bros. Melee and like huge games that people want and people are clamoring for, you're not going to bring Shin Megami Tensei 4 from the 3DS or like Nocturne, or I mean, yeah, I guess you did, but you're not going to bring like these sort of cult classics, if you will, on the Wii U and 3DS onto a playable machine anytime soon. And I think that's what everyone's mad about, like just like you're talking about, and that sucks. And like, it really sucks seeing Nintendo fanboys being like fanboys and girls and everyone being like, yeah, well, you can go buy these things right now if you really want to play them. It's like,
No, you can't.
yeah. Well, if I want to go buy these things right now, oh wait, 3DS is discontinued from being sold at any place that I want to buy it from, so I can't buy a new one. Oh wait, Wii U, same deal. Like, what am I supposed to do in that case?
And mind you, every game that was good on the Wii U is already on the Switch, so there's really no reason to get it.
Yep. Yeah, they're just like, figure it out and pay an absurd amount of money to get your Wii U, your 3DS, and then all the games you want to play for the foreseeable future. And it's really weird because the new Nintendo 2DS, I'm pretty sure it came out like either a little bit before the Switch or afterwards, and then it was discontinued like a year after. And I was like, what the heck? Like, that was such a quick turnaround on them releasing this new SKU, like this new product, and then saying, okay, we're going to take it off the shelves now. We're not going to sell any more 2D or 3DSs at all. And I was just like flabbergasted at that. Like, okay, y'all just came out with like Metroid Samus Returns on this. I feel like y'all are like actually gonna put more effort in. Like, I thought y'all were gonna continue with this, because why would I buy a new Nintendo 2DS XL if y'all are done with the thing afterwards and y'all aren't gonna make any more 3DS games? Like, what am I doing? Like, why would you even do that? But Nintendo does that and no one cares. And because they make good games, and it's just like, man, like, I really wish we could do some grassroots stuff, but of course it's impossible. It's Nintendo. But it's awful. It's the reality of it.
That thing where Nintendo too often, like, they do march to the beat of their own drum. That's just how it works. It's Nintendo does that, but the problem you run into is they do it a lot when it's something they shouldn't do. They really don't take any. I don't know that I've ever seen them really take any feedback from their community and decide, oh, maybe we should run with this. They make incredible games. They make some of the best stuff out there. Like, there's a reason Nintendo stuck around this long, because Nintendo knows how to make some great stuff. The problem is they refuse to change. They have showed that with their online, first and foremost. Their online is atrocious. We can all agree here that it could be a lot better. Their online is, I mean, the fact that I can't go and just, that I, for years, you could not go pretty much and re-download a game by signing your account into a new device. Is it still, I'm not as Nintendo-y as most of the people here. Is it the same way with the Switch? Like, if I go sign in somewhere else, I can't download the games? Like, there's no library, essentially?
I've had no reason to sign into somebody else's Switch, so I don't know.
I was just curious, because like, it's ridiculous to me that that's an issue, when with my PlayStation and with my Xbox and with almost every other flipping online account I own, I have access to my library. It's not that hard. There is nothing keeping them from doing this besides them, because there are programmers out there that could set all of this up, that could have set all of this up alongside. This is stuff that's existed since the 360 and PlayStation 3. We have gone through multiple console generations. It's inexcusable that we're using such archaic methods to make people buy stuff over and over again. And now it's getting even worse than that, because essentially you're walling this off, because you're probably going to try to figure out how to make this work into your Switch Online or whatever the next thing is, so that you can sell it again.
Yeah.
It's just, I mean, I get that not everybody's going to be the Xbox level of consumer friendly. And a big reason for that is Xbox sucked during Xbox One. They had to be overly consumer friendly after the absolute train wreck that was the launch of the Xbox One. It stuck with them throughout the entire console, so they had to start building a better foundation before they even got to, because at that point the Xbox One was just dead in the water. It didn't matter how good it got, which it got pretty darn good at the end. Nobody cared. When the Xbox Series launched, it's like, okay, we got away from that name, kind of. So let's go into this. Nintendo, even if they launch another console, it just feels like it's going to be the exact same problems over and over again, and it's because they refuse to change, and it almost feels like people are just going to have to straight up stop buying Nintendo stuff for them to change. Because why would they change what they're doing when everyone keeps paying for it?
Yep.
It's one of the best. The Switch is one of the best-selling consoles of all time. Like you said, people are going to, Nintendo gonna Nintendo, and then they'll just keep buying. I'm the worst person to ask about this because I'm not invested in Nintendo, but that's the way I see it. Is somebody going to have to stop buying it for it to actually matter? Nintendo's going to have to lose money for them to change. They did it with the Wii U. They realized it wasn't working and cut that sucker off fast.
They don't even have to get competitive. Like, they don't even have to follow market trends. Like, okay, Xbox is getting more consumer friendly. Well, they're Nintendo. Who cares? Like the PlayStation has to sort of follow suit. Like, they have to think about, okay, well, what does Project Spartacus look like? But Nintendo's just like, all right, well, we're gonna release whatever.
Well, if you read Jim Ryan's interview recently after Bungie was acquired, you see an executive who's been looking at this for the last year and wants to change. Yeah. Who wants to make sure, doesn't want to just get stuck, because there aren't many companies out there that would spend $3.6 billion to improve their personal business. It's more than just they're not getting exclusives out of it. Yeah, they're going to make a ton of money off of Bungie because it's multi-platform. They're going to get the cut of it. But they spent a bunch of money to improve in another area of their business because it wasn't as good. I don't see Nintendo doing that at all. Nintendo literally doesn't care. They just want to keep doing business where they want to because they're sitting on tons of money. They're profitable. Xbox, yeah, Microsoft makes a lot of money. Xbox division is probably in the red. PlayStation is pretty much keeping the rest of their company afloat. Nintendo, Nintendo doesn't have factories. So Nintendo's not sitting on a bunch of debt or anything. They're kind of like the dragon in The Hobbit, just sitting on the piles of money.
Yeah.
They feel like they don't have to do anything because nobody's come to take their money yet.
I just find it fascinating that Nintendo, they put so much effort into making sure that they make great games, which means they care about what people think about their games. So they have the understanding, we want to make great games because we don't want people to have bad experiences with our games. We want people to have good experiences with our games. So they put a lot of effort and thought into making sure that even if they're doing something quirky, that it's good. But when it comes to everything else, particularly the online stuff, it is weird that they don't care about it making good. I feel like this would be a really simple solution. They don't have to do a Game Pass. They don't have to do anything like that. They could set up an online storefront where you could buy all of their available backlog of games digitally. You have an account, and that account follows you. You can download NES games, Super NES games, N64 games, whatever else that they have available, eventually GameCube, maybe even Virtual Boy, for crying out loud. Just whatever people want to buy. Does Nintendo not think people wouldn't buy into that? If you had your own account, David, if you had your own account, Noah, if I had my own account, and, I got my Switch, you got your Switch, and whatever other console they come out with next, imagine all the stuff I just bought online, I could play on my Switch, and then it just transfers over to the next console because I already got it. And there's plenty more games to buy because Nintendo's catalog is enormous. It blows
Incredible.
PlayStation and Microsoft out the water. They have so many games. They would never run out of people buying their games. And then you have the irresponsible people who would forget their account information and have to relog and buy everything again. You got those people too. So I just feel like there's plenty of opportunity for Nintendo to do something fantastic with their back catalog of stuff on the same level of what Microsoft is doing without even the same resources that Microsoft needs. But they're not doing it. And I don't know why, because they care so much about making great games. But they don't care about making great services. Do they think their service is great? I don't know. They haven't mentioned, they don't talk much. But man, your service sucks. And you got your biggest games like Smash on a crappy online service that people don't want to play on because it's just so latent. So many online problems. You got your best game. Shoot, Animal Crossing has issues while you're playing online. It's like, why do I have latency just picking up a shell? My goodness. Like, just let me pick up the shell. That sort of stuff. Come on. It is baffling. And I've been saying it for a long time. Most of you haven't heard me say it because I've been saying it on all kinds of platforms. Nobody or Nintendo does not change because everybody keeps buying into it, like David said. Mm-hmm. Everybody does it all the time. You are unsure about the Switch OLED? Doesn't matter. I'm going to pre-order it because it's Nintendo.
Yep.
I haven't heard one person say anything good about it yet because they haven't gotten into their hands. I'm going to pre-order it because I don't know. Like it just, it doesn't make people fed up with Pokemon, fed up with the way they've been doing Pokemon.
They were over the moon mad about it.
Furious.
Bought it ridiculously.
Absolutely furious. What did I say? Yeah, this is an article I never actually wrote, but I said, don't buy it. Don't buy it. If you're that mad at it, don't buy it. Otherwise, you're going to send the message, y'all don't care. We can make changes. We can keep doing this thing, and you're going to keep buying it. Thankfully, they released Legends Arceus, which is a change, and, people seem to like that. But still, the whole double Pokemon thing and barely any changes and edit, y'all still buying it. Whose fault is it at this point? Like, at some point, it's not Nintendo's fault. They are doing what people like. And what people are liking is based on the money y'all are spending.
Oh, yeah. Well, it's not even what they like. They're just basing it on, did it sell? Okay, we'll do it again.
Exactly. But that's the same message.
Yeah.
If you bought it, you like it. It's the exact same message.
The Donkey Kong Tropical Freeze remake really had me annoyed with Nintendo. I've always had different annoyances. That one was just extra because it's a remake of a Wii U game with one additional character that makes everything easier. And they charged $10 more than it cost on the Wii U.
Yep. And guess what? What happened, Noah? People bought it.
People bought it. It was lauded as one of the best games on the Switch.
Let's go. Yeah, I love it.
At some point, it ain't Nintendo's fault anymore.
No.
I believe that with all my heart. At this point, you know what Nintendo's about. You know what they're going to do. And yet, people still buy into it. Yeah, and I'm especially talking about the people who know. I'm not talking about those, the parents buying stuff for their 8-year-old, whatever. I'm talking about the people who watch podcasts like this, watch the news, know what's going on, still buying it.
Yep.
Don't tell me you didn't buy Pokemon Sword and Shield. You bought that crap. All that complaining about the Pokedex. Small minority, doesn't matter. You still bought it. I want to hear it.
Yep.
All right. All right. That'll do it for. I almost got lost because I was about to go back into apples to apples. I was like, wait a minute, we already did that. All right, David, what you working on?
So I'm gonna continue playing Horizon because I want that sweet, sweet platinum. But I will also be continuing through Call of Duty just dropped Season 2 and Rank Play. So we're going to be doing impressions for that. One that is there that I have to play. And I'm a little concerned considering the reception online. Crossfire X is downloaded to my system, and I am with the current state of how it is reviewing. Let's just say it is very tough for me to want to put down Call of Duty and Horizon Forbidden West in order to play Crossfire. Let's just put it that way. We
You'd
will
rather
see my
open
review
up
at some
Cyberpunk.
Yeah, that's for sure.
Us game journalists are doing the dirty work, so you don't have to.
Well, say it again for the people in the back. God dang it.
At least I got to play Dying Light 2 and Horizon Forbidden West before I had to play Crossfire.
And at least you have them, so that way when you're done with Crossfire, you have a palate cleanser.
I can wash the dirty taste out of my mouth, which I really hate because I love Remedy. I feel like, I don't know, I guess is probably just getting saddled with, because all they did was the campaign. They didn't even do the multiplayer.
They were given a bad hand.
It was probably a really small team doing this too. So, oh well.
Oh, what you working on?
Yeah, it's with a heavy heart that I announced that I'm going to be playing Destiny 2, The Witch Queen, all day on Tuesday, February 22nd. I'm going to be playing it on stream live. So if you want my impressions live, I'll be giving them at twitch.tv/vuvuzela21. But then also, I will have a day one impressions up that day at the end of the day, like probably towards like nighttime Central Time. On Gaming Trend, and then I'll be covering it. I'll break down how I'm going to be covering it after that on that impressions thing. But yeah, it'll be fun.
All right. That's it from us. Appreciate you watching. Appreciate you listening. This is the Part Timers Podcast. Thanks for hanging with us. We will talk to you next week.